The content of this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your mental or physical health. The views expressed are those of the host and guests and do not replace personalized care from a licensed professional.
Welcome to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante, a space where a nurse practitioner and educator shares real talk on mental wellness, mindfulness, and navigating life in and out of healthcare. Let's take a moment to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
Very important, guys, to start slow, go steady. No, it's not a fast race. We're all in this together.
There's a lot of anxiety, depression, and PTSD going on. So just need to make sure that our message as a provider is heard by our minority patients. Making sure that we are here for you.
Welcome to Mindful Moments, the space where we pause, reflect, and have honest conversations about care, community, and compassion. As we celebrate Black History Month, we're reminded that history isn't just something we look back on, it's something we live, shape, and pass forward. Today's guest is someone who embodies the truth. Dr. Anyi Atabong is a doctorally prepared dual board certified psychiatric mental health and family nurse practitioner with nearly 20 years of experience in healthcare. She is deeply committed to serving minority and underserved populations and is a powerful advocate for reducing mental health stigma. She co-owns a private outpatient practice delivering culturally responsive care, and served as an adjunct professor at Coppin State University, Helen Fuld School of Nursing, wherein she launched a PMHNP program in 2026. Beyond clinical care and education, Dr. Atabong was appointed by Governor Westmore as Commissioner for African Affairs for the state of Maryland. She also holds leadership roles in professional organizations, consults for pharmaceutical companies, and champions community-based mental health strategies. In 2024, she co-founded the Society of Psychiatric Mental Health Nurse Practitioners of Color, an organization advancing health equity, representation, and collective empowerment. Today, we'll talk about culturally affirming mental health care, mindfulness in community healing, and what it means to hold a space while making history. So wherever you're listening from, take a breath with us, and welcome to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante. Welcome, Dr. Anyi. How are you? Thank you so much for...
Hi, Dr. Morante. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for picking me.
Great. We met each other at DNP's of conference in Oakland, and now we're doing this collaboration. I'm so excited that you're joining us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The beauty of community.
Yes, an amazing group of people too. And now, my first question for you is, when you hear the phrase holding space, what does it mean to you, especially as a Black woman, clinician, and a nursing leader?
I mean, holding space, typically, when we say that, we're really talking about you being present, right? Being able to allow individuals to feel in that moment. The thing about it is we juggle so many roles as nurses, let alone women of color, because of our history. You're typically forced to do so many things, and sometimes we forget ourselves. And so I think it's so important that, as as a community, we're able to, hold space for others, but more importantly, to also remember yourself and hold space. So in that moment, allow yourself to be free without judgment, and just to be present.
And that's important, that what you have mentioned about being present and being a authentic leader like you. It's very important to make sure there's representation and diversity in our profession, which we are pushing for. And thank you for your advocacy. Now, during Black History Month, how do you see history showing up in mental health needs of Black communities today?
That's a deep question, Pedro. Because the way I see it typically is it shows up as stress. It shows up as stress in so many different ways, be it emotionally, and be it physically, and just carrying on the past traumas into today, such as the misconceptions of mental health, or even just mistrust in our medical systems. That's how we typically see it in the Black community, or how from a spiritual standpoint, right? We have family, tell us, be strong, or pray it away. Those are the type of things that we still do see, in today's work. And even within, believe it or not, some of our colleagues who may not necessarily be in mental health, who may be in different industries, still carrying that with them, as old as they may be. So really trying to engage others and to kind of reshape and rethink things.
And thank you for sharing that. And that's very important that we take action to this one and have self awareness. And at the same time, we tend to forget about our mental health, but we should always make it as a priority as a clinician and as a nursing leader. And everybody should make it as a priority.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, how do you approach healing when generational trauma and resilience exist side by side?
Yeah, they definitely do exist side by side, but I think being able to hold both truths at the same time, right? Because generational trauma is something that individuals still carry, and this is not even just for Black people, right? You mean Native Americans, our Latino brothers and sisters, even our Asian brother and sisters, because of the U.S. history. But healing looks like helping people keep what's strong within them, so their faith, their family, their community, and not making resilience seem like it's some kind of badge of honor, because for me, I would say I don't really think it is, right? Because of those past traumas and histories, we by nature we're resilient people. So being able to acknowledge that, it's a plus, but at the same token, I think just being able to acknowledge that these are the traumas that we have, trying to help and heal with them, while we're being resilient.
And trauma could imply different reactions to different races and also cultural aspects.
Absolutely.
I like your point that the underrepresented and people of color like us are basically needing more advocacy in terms of mental health platform, and that's why thank you for what you guys do, and what you co-founded to is very important with our times right now. Now, how do you approach healing and also in delivering culturally affirming care that looks beyond just cultural competence?
The term cultural competence has, they've gotten rid of that term now, because the question is, can you truly be competent in somebody else's culture if you're not from that culture? Which I can agree to say, yeah, I don't think you can, right? I cannot be culturally competent, as a Latino woman, because I'm not Latino. But I think it's key that we are able to acknowledge different backgrounds and different cultures when you're treating them. Like here in the DMV, I can't even begin to explain how many different cultures I've come across, or the types individuals that have come into my office from different backgrounds. But that's why I love travel. I've traveled a very extensive part of the world. And if I'm able to speak a word in Spanish, or say something in French, it's like, oh, okay. The patients get really excited, and just being able to acknowledge and listening. I think a big thing for us is being able to listen and to hear, so that, whatever it is that we're doing in reference to caring for especially for our patients, so that they know that the care that you're giving them is going to be tailored for them, right? You're not just checking off a box, but you're pretty much, listening to them so that you can get a very good understanding of who they are and where they come from, and incorporating their background into their care makes all the difference. Makes all the difference.
I totally agree with you that cultural aspects and at the same time being aware of the culture of our patients are very important as a clinician. Just want to give an example like a patient that is non-compliant and being seen as disengaged. But when we look at those patients that we see in our practice, there's like a missing piece that probably they have some cultural concerns, or they are disengaged, or they're non-compliant, they're missing their appointments because they are looking for providers that they can connect with. And when we offer that to them, that somebody sees them and doesn't change who they are, because they will say, oh, that clinic is trying to change me. But when they feel that they're accepted, when they are heard, listened to, and when we deliver the care that they needed, I think it hits them that, oh, this clinic is a good fit for me, and I've been looking for this clinic.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Now, why does being seen matter so much in mental health healing?
I feel as though so many people, it's a good question. I feel like so many people over the years have been misread, right? They've been misunderstood. So being seen to them means I believe you, right? I understand you. I hear you. And so there's no need for you to have to prove a point or have to try to go the extra mile to say what is true. I that's what being seen is. I hear you and I see you and I understand you. And so, that completely, especially in care, will always change the outcomes, because you were just talking about patient adherence and patient compliance, right? So if they're able to come into a clinic where they know that they're going to be seen and they're going to be heard, they're going to share things with you that will allow you to tailor whatever needs to be, changed so that they can adhere and comply, you know? So that for me truly means, being seen, being heard.
I agree with you that if patients are more able to um, accept who they are and at the same time connect with their providers, and they're able to be seen, heard, validated, then they're able to comply with our treatment plans, and they show up and they tell you more about how they are, instead of them having some barrier that they don't want to overshare because of the fear of rejection, or
That's right.
fear of that they don't belong. So that's something that we need to offset as a provider.
Absolutely.
Now, how can mindfulness extend beyond the therapy room and into communities?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest here. I didn't really start practicing mindfulness until like maybe several years ago, right? Because you hear it all the time. You're like, yeah, practice mindfulness, practice mindfulness. And I have like 16,017 tasks that I'm doing throughout the day that, I'll be honest, I'm just on the go. But there's sometimes throughout the day where you might have a patient upset you. A family member might send you a text that throws you off throughout the day, or, maybe an employee at the clinic, you told them to do something and it didn't get done, and so truly I was like, man, I need to find a way where I'm not going to lose my fumes. And in the midst of that, my Apple Watch, the Apple Watch has actually the mindfulness app. And so I'm speaking for myself here, guys. So this one time, I don't know what I was fidgeting, and then the mindfulness thing popped up, and I was like, oh, you know what? I forgot. Let me actually do this real quick and see. And let me tell you, 2 minutes of that was an absolute offset for me, such a recharge. And so because now that I've experienced that, I share it very often with my patients. It doesn't cost you anything. You can do it in your car, in the grocery store, in the car. I mean, anywhere you are, in the plane. If you just need 2-3 minutes to just shut your eyes and take a deep breath, it's just a brain reset. And it is so needed that it just kind of also resets your emotions, and then it just carries you to be able to continue to move forward. So yes, mindfulness extends beyond the therapy room by doing it anywhere you are and to be able to practice it regularly.
Yes, if we focus on the present time and we don't dwell too much into the past or overthinking about the future, I think it keep us grounded, right?
Absolutely.
If we're able to feel the face of life more and appreciate life. But it takes practice. As you have mentioned a while ago, needs
Yep.
build up, and
Yes.
it needs routine, and it needs like a set of time for you to do it. And I think this is one of the tools that can be very effective to avoid clinician burnout.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I
This
think
is a
as
very,
leaders, we need to encourage it more.
what role do trust and cultural understanding play in engagement and outcomes of the patient?
Trust is everything, Pedro. Trust is everything. If your patients do not trust you, they're not coming back. Let's start there. Right? They're not going to keep those appointments, right? I mean, if they don't feel safe, you're not going to see them again. So trust is everything. It's super important that we build, what we call that patient provider relationship, that alliance. Because again, like we were just saying earlier, if the patients don't trust you, they're not going to follow their treatment plan. If they know that they can come here and not be judged, be it a side effect from a medication, or maybe an irregular response to a medication or to a treatment, they're not going to share that with you. And we need to know. Like I tell them all the time. I tell my patients, staff, I want happy, healthy, mindful, functioning people in my community. So I want you well. I want you well. So I'm not going to treat you just because, no, I'm treating you because I'm putting everything into it so that you are well. Because I want well people around me.
I definitely agree with you, and I just want to piggyback that if the patient really trusts you, and we call that therapeutic alliance in psychiatry. We go back and you keep up your promise and making sure that you show up for your patient authentically. They trust you well. And some of these patients though could develop therapeutic rapture wherein, trust is broken, they don't trust their providers, they don't come back. And I definitely agree that that's a common trend if we don't take time to educate our patients. If we don't show up to them authentically and we're just showing up just to do the job, but if we're doing it over and beyond, I think the trust is there with our patients. Love it. Now, you're a clinician, educator, commissioner, advocate. You wear so many hats. How do you stay present without burning out?
Believe it or not, with all the things that I do, I get enough sleep, Pedro. People don't believe me, but in order for me to function, and I'm not even going to lie, even with my patients, for my patients who have trouble sleeping, I'm like, oh my God, that is something that I always want to fix because I could not imagine doing all the things I do and not getting enough rest. So those are one of my biggies. It's two things. It's sleep and spiritual grounding. So I'm a Christian woman and I'm proud to say so. So that's a space where it definitely helps keep me grounded. So, going to church without a doubt. Getting able to, I have phenomenal church members who are so supportive, my very good girlfriends too, as well. But being able to, take time to spend with them. And then of course I have an average of 7 hours of sleep. I get my on a bad day 6, but I'm going to get my sleep. And so I can do all the things that I need to do throughout the day.
Sleep is very important. And some patients that we see in our practice, if they don't get enough sleep, their mental health is off. Their focus concentration is off. Right? Everything is going to be affected, right, by how they function, how they show up, and how they perform. Now, I agree with you. Spirituality is also important, and we often tend to forget about this. But we have beliefs and strong faith. I think that's one of the things that keep us going, right?
Always. My Jesus takes me very, very far, Pedro.
It's very important. Let's talk about representation and legacy. You help launch a PMHNP program at HBCU, which is very huge. What does that mean to you during Black History Month?
Oh, wow. So helping develop that program, we're praying that we'll be able to start it in the fall. And that was such an honor because it's such a need, especially in that area of the state that it's in. But, during Black History Month, it's not just an opportunity to where, we're celebrating history, but this is also creating history, right? Because I want to say this would be the first PMHNP program at an HBCU in the state. And that institution happens to graduate the largest amount of Black nurses in the state of Maryland as well. It's also my alma mater, I must say. So that is an institution that absolutely grounded me in my nursing career. So that is legacy work, is what I call that. That's big time legacy work. Shout out to Dr. Joan Tillman, who's the dean there, who is just so amazing. Dr. Anita Moore Hebron, who is my colleague that helped, who worked with to develop the program. I just think that it's such a great way to be able to honor Black history, if anything, to be able to be a part of such a great project. I can't wait for it to start.
We're so excited for that program to start.
Yes.
So
yes.
Now, I'm very excited for this next question. I resonate with this one. Well, why was 2024 the right moment for you to co-found the Society of PMHNPs of Color?
Why 2024? That's a great question. I will say that it was something that had been brewing over the years, especially right after COVID. And Dr. Daniel McCamey, who is DMPs of Color, and I will say people get it mixed up. They're like, is it a sister of the, yes, it is. It is a sibling of DMPs of Color. Because I would get a lot of mentees and preceptees who are, students in PMHNP programs who are of color, and they were looking for a mentorship, right? They were like, a lot of them came from institutions where they did not have a lot of classmates or professors that looked like them. And so they wanted to be able to have some kind of community where they could go and feel a lot more supported. So going to Danielle McCamey about that, and she was like, well, why don't you just start your own organization? And I said, who, me? Start what? She's like, well, let me link you with some people. And so Letizia Baxter Smith, Dr. Baxter Smith, who's at Vanderbilt in Nashville, and then Kirby Williams, who is the PMHNP mentor on Instagram and LinkedIn, she put us together and in 2023, and in 2024 we officially launched, where in 2025 we had our first in-person conference, with our second annual conference or summit, as you may, will be in September. And truly we wanted to be an organization that was different from our typical other psych nursing organizations where they talk about psychopharmacology and disease state. We wanted to talk about, issues and problems that are plaguing communities of color, right? The misconceptions and the judgments of mental health. Some of the things that we go through, like grieving. What is it like to treat, Muslims who are going through mental health issues? Immigrant and refugee problems that we're seeing. How do we encounter those things as clinicians as well, not just disease state? And talking about drugs. And then the resources. So we also wanted to be very big on being an org where if you needed a resource for something to treat your patient or even for yourself, that we should be the go-to guys for that. And so, three heads are better than one. And we were able to come together and do the society.
Yes, and I'll be joining your membership program, the Society of Psychiatric Mental Health Practitioner of Color. Of course, you have representation here also on the West Coast, not only on East Coast or Midwest too.
I hear you, Pedro.
Yeah, I'll gonna be involved with that one. Please make sure to hook me up too, and we'll make sure to come into fruition for different collaboration. Now, can you invite each one of the followers, listeners of this podcast, especially my students?
Yes. So September 11th and 12th, we are going to be at the Hutton Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. You can find us on Instagram or LinkedIn, but our website is www.pmhnpsofcolor.org. And all the information is there. It's early bird right now, so the tickets are $149 by January 31st and February 1st, which is next weekend, guys. It's going to go up. But we are so excited. We're officially a membership as well. So on Monday, we became a membership, and we have so many resources. We're going to have a journal club where we're going to do articles together. We're trying to encourage people to submit their DMP projects for publication. We're going to have pharma meetings. So we're going to talk about drugs as well, get a better understanding for that information. There's just so many things that we have. And so we're going to Namibia, which is in Southern Africa, in April. So there's still time if you're interested in doing a medical mission trip on mental health to Namibia, which happens to be one of the countries with the highest suicide rates in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. You're creating an impact to the community.
Yes.
Please do not miss that big event by the Society of PMHNP Scholar. Okay.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yes. Now, with our new season for this podcast, we have the Mindful Talk. So you can choose between emotions, mindful inquiry, and expression. And I will get some deck cards for you, okay?
Okay.
So tell me emotions, mindful inquiry, or expression.
Do I just pick a word, Pedro?
Yes. Emotions, mindful inquiry.
Okay, inquiry.
Inquiry, okay. One questions.
This is so cute.
Describe some of your friends and why are they your friends?
Ooh.
Tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to say this. I'm a social butterfly. So I have so many friends, Pedro. So many. Like I have no business making new friends, but I can't help myself. I everywhere I go, I make a new friend. But I'll talk about my longest friendship. So my best friend I've known since I was 14. I'm in my 40s now. So loyalty, yes, loyalty is a big thing to me. And so I will say that with my friends, we are able to confront one another. So if you do something that I don't like and vice versa, we're able to open up about that. We are big on supporting one another. So if I have a goal or a business or a mission, she is right there supporting me and vice versa. There's an understanding, there's transparency, and then there's trust. And we're all individual beings, sometimes as women, we might get a little clingy, but we we allow each other to be who we are, and we've evolved. Who I was at 15, 16 is not who I am now, so we've been able to allow each other to change and grow. And there's that understanding, which is awesome. So yes. And her name is Aggie Chu. She's in human resources. She is not a nurse.
Shout out to her. Yeah.
Shout out
she
to her.
Keeps
for
you
sure.
sane, right?
Yes.
Next one is emotion.
Ooh,
right.
Emotion.
Emotion. So let's choose one of the questions here. What is a way you can show someone that you care about them?
Ooh, so we want to talk about what is it? The gifts? What's that? There's that thing where is there the 5 list? Anyway, I can't remember what it is, but gifts. I love to give gifts. So if you get a gift from me, that means I actually do care about you.
Oh, wow, okay. So what kind of gift though? Are you?
Anything. It could be from flowers to a Starbucks latte. I could just bring you something to work. If my colleagues, did something great for me, covered my patient or whatever the case is, or maybe stayed over, a couple more minutes after she was supposed to leave. The next day I'll do something. I'll be like, lunch on me, guys. I give treats.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And the next expression will be the next one, okay?
Okay.
What do you love most about the world?
Ooh, how different it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love the variations, the fact that Pedro, that you're from another part of the world and I get to learn something about you. Like I want to go to the Philippines, I want to go I want to go to Manila. I haven't. I've traveled to 62 countries. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yes. And so the Philippines is on the list. The list. I got to go. So you might be the one taking me.
Yes. By 2028, I think there's a global nurse summit in Philippines. I think we need to go together. I think it's spearheaded by PNAA, and so we'll get through. That will be a great start too. Okay.
I'm down. That would be great. I would love to go.
I would love to take you to different places there too. And it's so cheap. If you love Hawaii or if you love other countries, you'll probably love with.
I heard.
The last but not the least is mindfulness. Okay.
Mindfulness. Let's go.
Important. Describe a time when you forgave someone and how did it make you feel?
Ooh. Describe when you forgave someone and how did it make you feel? Well, I will say this. Once you forgive someone, it's always like a dead weight that's lifted. So you always are going to feel better. I'm trying to think of a time. Let's see. Someone, I want to say at church, probably said something to me that I did not like. It was offensive. And so I had to sit on it for about a week. And then when I went back to church, I confronted her and I was like, you made a statement on on a call that I wasn't too happy with. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't look at it that way. So we shared perspectives. We had our mutual understanding. We apologized to one another and we moved on from it. And so it was good because then I didn't want to start looking at this person at church side-eyed, when we're in church. So.
And how did that make you feel?
Like I felt great. It was.
I think forgiveness is key, right?
Yeah.
Forgiveness is like part of.
Pedro, it makes you old. Not forgiving ages you quickly. But yeah.
As they said, forgive and forget, but the wound or the scar is still there. But you remembered, but the feeling, but it's good to let it go, right?
Absolutely.
Now, another thing for our new season for this podcast is the rapid fire psych fast talk. Quick answers, no overthinking. So I will ask you a question, then you make sure you answer rapidly.
Okay.
Morning routine or night routine?
Night routine. Facial. prayer. I take my meds at night and go to bed.
Ooh, self-care, right?
Yes.
Now, one word to describe your leadership style.
Ooh. I want to say independent, I guess.
A book that shaped your mindset.
The book is called Becoming by Michelle
Becoming.
Obama. Oh my gosh. Michelle Obama's last book that she wrote was amazing. It just incorporated you being able to be a leader, be real, and not overthink. You know, just be your authentic self in everything that you do, and everything shall follow. That's
Now,
Michelle
a
Obama.
place that instantly grounds you.
Church.
Amen.
Immediately. Amen.
Yes. One boundary you've learned to protect.
Ooh. Definitely my space, my peace. If you're someone that's gonna cause instability, I don't blink. I let you go very fast.
A mantra you live by.
I can do all things. No is not, and I think sometimes it gets me in trouble, but no just is not in my vocabulary. I'm gonna do it. And so that's why I have so many roles.
You will say yes.
Yes.
I love it. Complete this sentence. Legacy means.
Legacy means impact.
That strong and powerful word.
Yes. Oh, yes. Legacy is absolute impact to the highest degree because you're carrying it forward, right? And you're allowing for others to be just like the folks from the past have allowed us to be where we are, and so we have to take that forward.
True. And legacy is what we can leave our next generation of nurses to.
Absolutely.
Now, what mindful reminder would you like to leave for clinicians, caregivers, students, and community members in this Black History Month?
I would say, just based off of the title of this podcast, right, is, your right to rest. So with everything that we are doing as clinicians and as parents and as advocates and as teachers, and the titles and the lists go on, you deserve those mindful moments. You deserve those moments to be you and to rest and to not do anything. It's okay. Some of us, sometimes it almost feels abnormal. Like, wait, I don't have anything to do. But yeah, you earned that. Like that is your time to rest. And because if you don't rest, then you can't pour from an empty cup. That's what they say, right? So it's super important for you to be able to take a breath, unclench your shoulders, and just rest. Take time for you.
I agree with you. Remember, we went to the DNP's of conference, Rest and Resistance. Right?
Yes, rest and resistance. Right. You took, we don't have to earn rest. You deserve rest. It is you.
We all deserve some rest. That's it.
Yes, you deserve rest. It's up to you.
Now, I want to take this moment with this very important question, very timely. In light of the tragic death of ICU nurse Alex Perry, who was fatally shot by federal immigration agents during enforcement action in Minneapolis, the American Association of Critical Care Nurses emphasized the importance of nurses advocating not only for patient care, but also for a society where safety and well-being are the norm. How do you see the role of nurses and nursing organizations evolving in response to events like this, especially when the broader context involves public policy, civil unrest, and federal law enforcement? And what responsibilities do healthcare professionals like us have when their personal safety and professional values intersect in moments of community crisis?
Loaded question, but to keep it short, this is where it's so important for us to speak up. So when organizations make statements like that, it's a plus because you're acknowledging what is going on. We are aware of what's happening, but then there's the after, like the actions after. So once we speak, then what do we do? And this is where policy is so important. You know, as nurses, when I was doing my DMP project, the president at the time of the ANA was Dr. Ernest Grant. And he said to me, and it still lives with me till this day, he says, even for the nurses who may not have time to attend meetings, it is important for you to join an organization and pay your dues, because the funding from those dues go to lobbyists, they go to supporting nurses that are going to be able to go to Capitol Hill to speak up for you, to be able to defend and protect our skills and our safety. So I think it is so important that now that something like this has happened, that we need to begin to think of our next actions. And that is definitely thinking about policies that we need to put in place to be able to protect ourselves. But, you know, in this particular case, that this happens actually in a community setting, you know, outside of our typical work settings, it's just so unfortunate. This is where it gets really political as well, you know, because I can say that some of us may not be in support of what some of the actions and things that our current government is doing. But I just think it's so important that we show up for one another as nurses, and just to be able to stick with one another in solidarity. And my prayers go out to his family. I'm so pained by it. We've been talking about it since it happened yesterday. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And we are all in this together, right? We have a strong voice.
Yes.
Let us all unite as nurses. And something
Absolutely.
that is injustice, we have to speak up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Dr. Atabong, where can my followers follow you if they want to connect with you?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn at Anyi, Anyi, last name Atabong, Atabong, or I'm on Instagram, Anyi the NP, as in the nurse practitioner. So Anyi the NP, I'm on Instagram. I'm always posting stuff there as well. And on Instagram as well, PMHNPs of Color, so our organization. So we are PMHNPs of Color on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Dr. Atabong, thank you for holding space with us and for the work you do every day to ensure that care is compassionate, culturally affirming, and deeply human. To our listeners, Black history is not just something we remember, it's something we live through care, presence, and intention. This has been Mindful Moments. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I think 1 hour is not enough. We'll do another one for sure. Either a panelist or a group of people are here, right? And the DNPs of color and fellows that we can connect with. But I'm so proud of you. There you go again. Dr. Anyi Atabong in the house. Woohoo!
Woo!
Thanks for listening to Mindful Moments with Pedro Morante. Be sure to follow the podcast so you'll never miss an episode. If you find value in our time together, leave a quick review. It helps more people discover the space we're creating. For updates and more reflections, follow us on social media. Until next time, take care.